What's up, guys? This is Mike from Euphoric Dreams. I'm here with Scooby from Mystery Baking Company. Scooby, tell me about your history with cannabis, when you started using, how much you use.
I started smoking back in high school, like 2001, 2002 is when I kind of started taking a little bit more. I was known for the only kid in high school with the pound of weed.
Nice.
No one else had like access to a pound of weed in high school, and I did. And that was pretty interesting. That brought me a lot of friends, good ones and bad ones, and you know, that was then. But now, with the edibles, you know, it took me a while, but once I got into edibles, it really changed my life because, you know, I really like the fact when I would take an edible and I'll forget that I had taken an edible, and then it will kick in, and then I'll have like this experience, like it was kind of intense. And
yeah.
It took me, you know, it just, I don't know, it had like an effect on me where, you know, I tripped out a little bit. I just enjoyed it more. It helped me. I had a lot of anxiety, and then, you know, the edible started really helping more than the smoking, because when I would smoke, the effect would last like, you know, 30-40 minutes. But when I would eat an edible, it was lasting like 3 to 4 hours. So it, you know, it'll just mellow me down a lot more, you know, and that's really what got me to, you know, like chasing the edible route more than, you know, than the smoking.
A lot of people on the medicinal side with medical marijuana, that's what they like, the edibles. A lot of people who are really sick or really needed strong dosage, they like the edibles to, like you said, last longer. It's a different high, it kicks in a little later, but lasts way longer.
Yeah.
So tell me about your company. When did you start this company? How did you start it?
So it's a trip, man, because a lot of people don't know this, but Mystery Baking Company started back in 2011, 2012. And I used to be a security guard at a dispensary and in Ontario. And the manager there ended up doing something really stupid, and he ended up going to jail, and they didn't have nobody to run the shop. So they put me in charge of running the shop, and I took that store from seeing 10 to 12 people to 320 people, 350 people a day.
Nice.
So it was really interesting how I was able to connect with people and make friends and bring people in. And in that process, there was a guy there named Bill, and Bill would bring these pounds of shake. And one time he didn't want to drive back up north with him, and he's like, "Hey, Scoob, you want to like hold on to these for a little bit?" And so I was like, "Man, I'll wait. I'll hold on to them for you till you come back in town." And I took some home, and I made a batch of brownies, and I brought it to the shop, and people love them. You know, people love them, and then I started doing it every week. And then when Kevin came back from jail, from his little trip or whatever, you know, I went and took the edibles on my own way and kind of broke apart with him and started just focusing on perfecting the recipes back then, you know.
Nice.
And then a lot of things happened. I ended up opening my own weed shop in North Hollywood, the NoHo shop, and that rocked for a little bit. And then Prop D passed, and if you weren't grandfathered prior to 1990 or 2007 or something like that, you weren't able to stay open. So I had to close down. And when I closed down, I was just done with the edibles. I was done with the cannabis. I was just devastated. I lost everything I had put into it, and I had to close down. You know, the landlord wasn't having us there anymore. Everybody was on the Prop D, and we didn't qualify for Prop D, so I had to close down. So then I took my whole route into concert promoting, and I was doing a lot of hip-hop shows. I started promoting a show called Rhyme Fest, and that went really well. And when legalization was about to come into play, I decided to come back into the business and bring Mystery Baking back on and take it a little bit further with all the knowledge I obtained from the past years and growing up and realizing the benefits, and then a lot of people was getting help with. And I really wanted to make an impact in the edible world, and here we are today.
I think you did. I think you are. To this day, I think you are, and moving forward, I believe you will make a huge impact. So you went from security guard, fell into the position of running the dispensary,
For sure.
and the entrepreneur in you took you out into your own venture, making your edibles, and here you are in a huge kitchen doing
Definitely.
your thing.
And one thing that was important for me is my first product was just making a simple can of butter.
Right.
I figured that would be a product that anybody can use at home,
Yeah.
and
Simple,
people
yeah.
can take that on and make whatever they want with it and medicate however they would like to. You know, a lot of people have allergies, or people they don't like certain foods. So if you have
sugar-free, whatever you want.
So
Yeah.
with the can of butter, it was really cool because then, you know, my mom could make something that she liked. She can put some of the butter on her eggs in the morning,
Yeah.
whatever. It was really simple, and it was introductions to anybody be able to medicate as long as they attempt to cook, or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, if you make some toast, you put it
Yeah.
on the toast, that's
For
good
sure.
enough.
Man, back in the days, we'll just put the butter on top of the pizza,
Yeah.
and that was it. We'll just eat the medicated pizza with the can of butter. And that was-
Perfect. Good idea for everybody wondering. Get your medicated butter from
Yes,
Scooby.
mystery baking.
So you saw the market go from way back in the days, all through 215, doing these shows, events with Edibles is doing events everywhere, right? And now,
For sure.
now you went from 215, we're Prop 64, everything going recreational. How's the market now, and how do you see it changing in the next 2 years?
A lot of things have changed, and with the Prop 64 in play, it's you know, it's a lot more challenging. Dosing is really important, and testing is really important, and a lot of those things was not necessary. Nobody even looked at in the past, you know.
Right.
Back in the
Yeah.
days when I remember 2012 era, you know, people were just doing it out of their home, you know, and now you have to have a certified kitchen, you gotta have permits, you gotta have, you know, you gotta work with all kinds of elements, you know, fire, you gotta work with a city,
planning
state,
and
you know.
everything, yeah.
There's a lot in place that, you know, it takes a lot of moving parts to be able to stay on the Prop 64 market and be able to grow into it, you know. And a lot of companies haven't been able to do it, and that's, it's pretty tough because it's, you know, a lot of these people started off just like me, you know, they
Yeah.
had nothing and they worked so hard, and now, you know, Prop 64 is in play, and a lot of these companies, they can't even work anymore, and it's really hard, you know. I mean, it's hard for me to see, you know.
And I'm sure it affects too. It affects you as far as a lot of sales that happen, and now you don't get. Some companies are going under. Does that affect your sales overall, or are things still going pretty well?
Well, man, it's difficult, you know, because it's like now you have to work with people in order to make it happen. So before you were more independent, and now in order to stay, I mean, for my particular, you know, in order for me to stay in the game, I gotta be able to work with other people, and it could be difficult, you know.
Well, yeah, because you go from being independent, being all you for so many years,
Yeah.
to having to work with people. But yeah,
Yeah, but it's, I mean, at the end, I see it as like, it is a progress, you know. You go from, I've been pulled over in the past with edibles, and it wasn't a good look. And now I've been pulled over with edibles, and the cop's like, bro, why are you nervous? It's just weed.
Yeah,
So,
true that.
you know, it's a big difference, you know. It's a big difference. I went from my mom literally chasing me and my friends out of our garage for smoking to her baking with me. So
Yeah.
it's, you know, she works with me. It's a trip. It provides for her, you know.
Yeah,
and
true.
And it's a trip, man. You wouldn't believe this, but not a lot of people know this. A lot of moms work with us.
yeah,
So we have like 4 or 5 moms from our group that comes back and work with us on a daily basis, and that's a trip. They used to hate the, you know, and now they're part of it, and it's just, I mean, it has came a long way, you know.
yeah.
That's for sure, you know.
And the future?
Man, the future, you know, it's hard to tell because these laws keep changing every day. So, you know, I mean, the way I see it really is, I see it like I'm a week at a time, you know?
Yeah.
It's like in this industry, it seems like a week to me is like a month, and
To
a month
almost
is
a
like
year,
a year.
yeah.
So,
Oh,
you
man.
know, it's like I'm only planning a week at a time right now. Things might
Right.
change later, but, you know, every week it's a new thing. You got, oh, they just changed this, or just they added this. You got to do this now. So, you know, you got to be able to, I mean, I see in order for you to stay in the business now, you got to be able to adapt,
Yeah.
you know, on the weekly basis or the monthly basis, however the changes come, you got to be able to work with it, you know. And if you can't do that, you're not going to survive in the business. That's for sure.
True. Right on. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem,
Scooby.
man. Appreciate it.
Mystery Baking for
Yes.
all your edible needs. Follow them on Instagram, all the social media. Thank you, Scooby.